Love and light. This is Healthy Talk Show, recording live on Monday, January 20th, 2020. I'm Robert.
And I'm Marissa.
Show notes will be over at healthytalkshow.com/51.
On this episode of Healthy Talk Show, we have sugar daddies paying for college. But first...
Tonight, passengers are being screened at 3 U.S. airports for a new virus causing concerns among health officials. Passengers on direct or connecting flights from Wuhan, China, the outbreak city, screened at JFK last night, as well as San Francisco and Los Angeles today. The CDC says the mysterious coronavirus has sickened dozens of people in Asia, with 4 new cases in China, and is linked to 2 deaths. The patients who died were both older adults. The CDC adding that most of the individuals infected by the virus had exposure to live animals. It's still unclear if the virus spreads from person to person, but the CDC says that it may be possible.
We don't know how this virus will behave. We don't know if it will change or mutate, which viruses can do.
That's not someone from the CDC, by the way. That's just their own in-house doctor, just FYI.
Oh,
for the audio listeners, that's not a representative from the CDC. That's just their in-house doctor.
Experts say this new type of virus typically causes symptoms of the common cold, but can lead to pneumonia. Years ago, a few deadly cases of other types of coronaviruses surfaced, SARS in China and MERS in the Middle East. So the CDC is deploying 100 health experts to these 3 airports as an extra precaution. In the next few weeks, about 5,000 travelers will be screened for any signs of infection.
Gonna make traveling a little inconvenient for those coming in from China, but interesting stuff.
Yeah. Kind of seems similar to the flu, but...
Maybe.
Yeah,
we all remember the big SARS scare.
Yeah.
That was didn't really do much here in the U.S. We were all scared of it, though.
That's true.
I don't know.
Hopefully it'll be similar.
Hopefully. KCAU TV, man requests trial by combat.
Trial by combat.
We can all thank Game of Thrones for bringing attention to the phrase trial by combat.
I've seen the television show and read the books.
That's what Paola's David Ostrom had in mind when he submitted these court filings in Iowa over a protracted child custody and money battle. The attention grabber? Petitioner demands the court sanction trial by combat to resolve these disputes.
I'm not interested in physically causing harm to anyone.
He says he's not violent or crazy, but frustrated by what he considers a system that in some counties, specifically in his case, he says, is stacked against men when it comes to issues of custody and financial support.
Ooh.
They've tried to ignore me, not address equal custody, and I think this puts a spotlight on them.
The approach was eventually outlawed in the fictional TV show, but no such explicit prohibition exists in the United States, which was part of Ostrom's argument. His ex's lawyer responded in court that, quote, just because the U.S. and Iowa constitutions do not specifically prohibit battling another person with a deadly katana sword, that's the weapon Ostrom suggested, it does prohibit a court sitting in equity from ordering same. The lawyer then asked that Ostrom lose visitation rights and submit to a psychiatric evaluation.
Oh, yeah.
Says he knows the whole thing is ridiculous and absurd, and that's the point.
Yeah, it's not a secret that a lot of fathers get screwed in father law. If you're not aware of it, look it up. Father law, it's a thing. Lawyers really do screw up a lot of things.
It's really unfortunate. I like the publicity stunt, though. Is the lawyer supposed to fight him, though? You know, he gets paid a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I'm paying for. Go fight him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the lawyers say, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Joe Rogan had Bill Maher on, the Joe Rogan Experience, his podcast over there. It's a pretty cool podcast. And they talked a lot about actually ex-husbands getting screwed for alimony from their ex-wives, but here's some funny stories.
Here's the big one. Lawyers make a lot of money if there's a large settlement.
So it's lawyers.
Yes. Lawyers don't make a lot of money if there's no settlement. Phil Hartman, when he was getting divorced, one of the things that he said to me, I go, dude, just fucking give her half. Come on, man. You make a lot of money. He goes, it's not half. He was crazed. He's like, it's 2/3. He goes, the fucking lawyers get 1/3. It's a goddamn scam. And I've had friends that have gotten divorced, and even though they had come to an agreement with the ex, like, let's listen with this, and you'll get this, and I'll get this, fine. Then the lawyers jump in. He's trying to fuck you, and this and that. They're trying to fuck you over. You deserve more.
Man.
Yeah, it's the lawyers that screw it all up. How does that happen? How do two people go from being married and loving each other to wanting to fight each other with swords?
You hear what he said, that people settle it, and then the lawyers
the lawyers jump in and they say, no, we can get you some money, get you taken care of. Here's another clip.
Well, I had a friend who got divorced and no family, okay, no children. They didn't have children. And it dragged on for more than, I think, almost 3 years. And even though they had come to some sort of conclusion, he was paying for his wife's lawyer. I go, it's like you're paying for the general of the army that's trying to kill you.
You're paying for someone to fuck you in the ass.
Yeah.
You're getting fucked in the ass.
It broke him. You can feel it.
I have seen so many men broken by
devastated.
Every time somebody says, people unfortunately get a horrible disease like cancer, and they say, I couldn't have gotten through it without my wife. I always think, and maybe she gave it to you. I don't mean, of course, literally, but I just mean that when you're in
it, his rationale might be
that relationship, the stress. We don't know what contributes all the things to cancer, but that certainly is, I'm sure, one of them. And then going through a divorce like that, I've seen people, like you say, just broken.
They get wrecked. And it's a system. The reason why the divorce laws are set up the way they're set up, people think, we're protecting women. Horseshit. They're doing it so that they can extract the maximum amount of money out of the male. That way, the lawyer gets the biggest chunk that they could possibly get. Most lawyers have they're working on a percentage basis,
right?
Especially if a woman doesn't have as much money, or if she's, the lawyer will come to her. Look, we've got a deal here.
Money.
Don't pay me now. We're gonna make sure we get you the most.
Don't pay me now.
We'll take care of it all in the end. And this is what has happened to several of my friends that have been divorced. And you know what it is once you see it.
We'll get you money on the back end. Don't worry. We'll just take 25 or 1/3. Jeez,
I've heard stories too.
This is one last clip.
Yeah.
There's something creepy about, like, my friend, like I said, didn't even have a child with this woman. He is still paying her, by the way. This is the same guy, very good friend of mine, has been divorced for 14 years, has been married for 12 to a new woman. Still paying the old woman. And my joke was like, you fucked her so hard she can't work.
Right.
Like, she literally can't work. Because he's a wealthy man. He made good money. And he works really hard. He's not in the business. He has a real job. And he works, long fucking hours every day. And he has his own business. And he has to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to someone he doesn't even talk to anymore.
Guys could have
he used to fuck her.
Guys could have Can
I get that deal?
Yeah. Just got to find someone rich and then stay with them and get the alimony. Suck 2/3 out, give 1/3 to a lawyer, you're good to go. Vampires. Here's Bill Maher's story.
He was a doctor who went to jail every night because he couldn't make the payments.
Oh, God.
And they would let him out on weekends to do rounds and stuff. But he was...
Craziness.
That is insane.
Yeah. So just think about that, all you married people out there.
Yeah.
Divorce is ugly. It doesn't need to be ugly.
After hearing that, I'm surprised anyone gets divorced. Gets married, to be honest.
Well, Bill Maher, he said, I don't understand why people get married because of all these stories I've heard. I'm not getting married. That's what Bill Maher, he's very controversial with that not getting married thing. But
yeah, and I'm all for marriage, or at least I thought I was, until you hear how lawyers screw people over.
Lawyers screw up everything. The lawyers, don't trust the lawyers. If we learned anything on Healthy Talk Show, don't trust the lawyers.
And get a prenup, maybe?
Yeah. Or a sugar daddy. You can use an app for that. RT has a report.
The website is called Seeking Arrangement. It describes itself as the leading sugar daddy dating site where over 10 million members fuel mutually beneficial relationships on their terms. And look a little more closely, and it's where sugar babies enjoy a life of luxury by being pampered with fine dinners, exotic trips, and allowances. In turn, sugar daddies or mamas find beautiful members to accompany them at all times. But the website is once again generating buzz for something else, helping these so-called sugar babies, quote, avoid student debt and secure a better future. Yeah, basically become a sugar baby and pay for college. And apparently there's a lot of young women buying into the idea and the website. It lists thousands of members from various universities and colleges nationwide, with Arizona State topping the list, and several Florida universities among the top 20 schools attended by the website.
Let's look at that list.
You got it.
I like that. Arizona
State's number 1, Indiana University's number 2, New York University's number 3, Georgia State number 4, University of Central Florida number 5, University of Alabama number 6. Where? Wow.
Yeah. And how did they obtain this? This is beautiful.
Sugar babies. Among them, the University of Central Florida, University of South Florida, and Florida State. A spokesperson for the dating site told the Miami New Times that the company compiles its data on students from the school email addresses that the sugar babies use to sign up for the site, and also people's personal profiles. And as far as the men, or sugar daddies, well, their profiles certainly differ as well. And while there are likely many stable and normal gentlemen on the site, perhaps looking for something a little more adventurous or different, or a casual young friend perhaps to help out and mentor in life, like other dating websites and or social media apps, there will also be the sketchy and creepy characters as well. The New York Times did a long piece in 2018 about a woman on Seeking Arrangement who, along with a friend, got hoodwinked by a deadbeat sugar daddy.
A deadbeat sugar daddy. Yeah. Hoodwinked by a deadbeat sugar daddy. Wait,
that's hilarious.
Hoodwinked, really?
What was he promising?
Yeah, really.
How were they really hoodwinked?
Yeah, what's the situation? And by the way, they get a lot of that information about the schools probably because of the GPS location data that they're running through the app, and that's how they know what school you go to, just FYI. Because I don't think that a lot of people are going to use their student emails to sign up for something like this. I don't see that's.
But if you
that's
do,
far. People don't use their student emails for anything. They usually use Gmail. They usually use. You can email a student at their student email. They're going to reply.
Yeah,
it's my experience.
If they are signing up with their emails, though, they got to remember their school can see their emails at any time.
Oh yeah, of course. So but yeah,
little public service announcement.
And yeah, anything that goes through their servers, they can see. They have to legally keep it on their servers, dude. It's a legal thing for like 5 years or something. Email retention.
There's also certainly plenty of criticism about a website that essentially promotes young women dating older men for money, with some people arguing that when sex is involved between the sugar baby and sugar daddy, or sugar mama for that matter, well, it essentially becomes prostitution or an escort service.
What's wrong with that? Decriminalize prostitution. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't have to use this site anymore. It'd be a lot easier.
But really, though, at what point are the universities kind of responsible for this?
Yeah, well, they're raising rates, and
that's precisely what do they expect?
Set in the market, yeah.
And then we expect everyone has to go to college now to get any sort of job.
Yep.
Well, that creates this demand then, so not everyone can afford college.
Now they're resorting to getting sugar daddies, apparently. Don't do it.
But it's kind of weird because that gives, more power to the elite, and academia's
don't do it through an app is what I meant. Don't do it through an app. If you're going to do it, do not do it through an app. There are other ways.
We talked about how those apps are tracking.
Yeah, those apps track you. And actually, next story, NBC News, dating apps tracking.
31-year-old makeup artist Payal Patel is familiar with modern love.
If you swipe left, swipe right, it's like yes or no.
But some unknowns
oh my God,
shocked her.
Oh, what the?
Payal agreed to let Patrick Jackson with privacy firm Disconnect follow her online dating activity on the popular apps Hinge and Bumble to see what information on her those companies gathered and shared.
So in the case of Payal, what did you learn about her?
So I learned the types of profiles that she was viewing. I learned some of her taste.
I have no words. I mean, it's It's uncomfortable. It's a little unsettling. It turns me off to want to have a dating profile.
Dating apps, like most apps on your phone, share data with third-party companies. In this investigation, Disconnect found Hinge alerted Facebook which Facebook images Pyle looked at in the dating app.
These are profiles of men.
Oh my God.
Pyle did sign up for Hinge with Facebook, but didn't know they were receiving data on her.
Of course they are. Anytime you use Facebook to authenticate into a website instead of using the built... it's dumb. What do you think you're doing? You're using the Facebook door to access something. Of course Facebook's going to be able to see everything you do. It's like accessing. It's crazy.
Disconnect even found Hinge users who didn't sign up through Facebook had their information sent to the company.
Now that's bad. That's bad. That's real bad. I don't know how that's bad. Turn off all this stuff, friends. Turn it all off.
Were you aware that these companies share a lot of your personal information with third-party firms?
I had no idea.
Facebook acknowledged it does get some information from all Hinge users, although it doesn't specify
all Hinge users.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Collecting that
Damn.
data.
Which ones. Hinge's privacy policy says they share user information with outside companies. Disconnect also discovered Bumble was sending encrypted information from Pyle's phone to an outside company.
If everything was above board, they wouldn't take extra steps to try to hide the exact data that they're transferring back.
A Bumble spokesperson said in a statement their data sharing is clearly explained in their privacy policy and that they safeguard their users' personal data.
Well, encrypting it would. That's a safeguard.
Yeah.
Safeguarding it, but...
Till it gets to that data broker.
Yeah, in China somewhere, wherever. Even if it's just, come on, everybody. This stuff, we keep reporting on it. It's fine.
Yeah, this is a great follow-up to last week's or episode 50, where we went in depth and how they're aggregating all this data together, building up these profiles of you. Doesn't matter what you're using. You see how they're all
connected.
All these connect back to your Facebook, when your Facebook connects to everything else you do.
Yep. That's healthytalkshow.com/50. If you missed that episode, you can go there, check it out. We got show notes and everything over there.
Yeah.
And talking about everything being tied together.
Oh, no.
This week in tech, the New York Times wrote a piece, the face recognition company that will end privacy.
Secretive company that might end privacy as we know it. Law enforcement is using their massive database. The problem is, you're not opting into it. If you've got images up on the internet, you're probably in the Clearview database. They claim to have scraped from Facebook, YouTube, Venmo.
That was
shocking.
Put
your profile picture on it.
That's outrageous. So they scraped your Venmo information for facial recognition.
They got everybody.
Oh my god!
So screwed. No, this is really worrisome.
Yeah, this is Clearview AI.
Other websites, a database of 3 billion images. Federal law enforcement says we don't really know how it works or who's behind it, but we sure love it. We sure like to use it. Imagine adding that capability to those contact lenses. You'd know as you walk down the street, oh, that guy's a convicted felon. Oh, that guy.
They were talking about some contact lenses earlier in the podcast.
He's got an outstanding warrant. That guy's just a scary looking. This is I don't normally like stories that are designed to scare you, but this does scare me.
It's supposed to scare you. It should scare you.
Yeah.
So it's Peter Thiel. I didn't realize that.
He's backing it.
Yeah. He did Palantir, which was another kind of company working in the shadows, also widely used by law enforcement, gathering information from a variety of sources, not face recognition, but database information, and then selling it to law enforcement. In fact, if you have read your Tolkien, you know what a Palantir is. Isn't it one of those things the wizards use to see like a crystal ball anywhere in the world? All the Palantirs are connected.
And they know.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah.
He even says it's creepy.
Yeah.
That's Leo Laporte from This Week in Tech.
And that ties back to that whole series the New York Times has been doing, how they've been able to put together this camera data.
Just from open source data, public information, public data off of public cameras. This is what's going on. All these cameras that are being installed everywhere, they're not a good idea because then everyone can pull the information off of them. It's
and then
being tracked.
especially if you have these large companies compiling all this data together, all this facial recognition data. They're doing machine learning, trying to get age progression as well.
And with your 10-year challenges out there, all you dummies putting up pictures of yourself, this is me 10 years from now, and this is me now. That is stupid, because you're helping them train their systems.
Yeah.
By doing that, you're helping them show how you age, where you age, what you age, what ages, where you're.
Yeah, it's really good data for them too, because they get a large data set of people.
Yes.
Giving this 10-year span.
And if you start with the babies online, people post pictures of their babies online. There you go. Bam. Now they have a unique identifier. We can start advertising to that baby as soon as they pick up a phone. We're going to know who that baby is. We're going to know everything about that baby because you're taking pictures. You're holding up the eye. You're letting that eye into your house.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, it's the eye. It's the the ear. The ear and the eyes. You're letting them in your house. They're in your pocket all the time.
And so these data companies, then think of them. They're already starting a file on your baby. They already. This person is related to that person.
This is the way it works.
Baby.
Yes.
Mark that, and then they're going to start your little baby's profile.
Very scary. Very scary. Scary stuff. De-link things, disconnect from things, deactivate accounts, close accounts, take shit down, start working, start scrubbing. It's already a little too late, but we can start still. You can still do it now. Start encrypting stuff. Stop generating information about yourself for these companies to utilize. Stop giving them stuff. Don't give them anything anymore. What do they give you? What value do these companies provide you? I get no value out of Facebook, really. I don't use Facebook.
Yeah.
I can't even log into the damn service anymore because I have all the tracking stuff blocked. So every time I try to log into Facebook, it makes me change my password every single time. It's unusable for me now because I don't want to be tracked. So it doesn't like me.
No, because Facebook isn't free.
Nothing's free.
That's why you got to give value for value. That's our model that we run on.
That's right.
HealthyTalkShow.com/support.
Go there. Check it out. PayPal us some money. If you have Amazon Prime, you can connect. Give us free Amazon money. Now we're going to get a little political. I apologize, but we got to do it. MSNBC.
Dust up between the two.
Oops, that's my bad. So, for those of you who don't know, during the debates, a little bit before the debates last week, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren had a little bit of an exchange. According to Warren, she said, long story short, that Bernie said in a private meeting with her that a woman cannot be president. And then during the debate, they kind of slammed Bernie, asking him, they asked him, what did you just do? And let's just listen to the body language. It's pretty clear.
Dust up between the two of them is that scandals hurt you more when they seem plausible, right? I mean, Bernie Sanders does have a sort of physicality, when he talks.
What am I waiting for?
Scandals hurt you more when they seem plausible?
Yeah, because during the debate, they asked him, did you say that? Did you say a woman can't be president? He said, no. We'll see what he said, but he basically said, no, I didn't, because I'm Bernie Sanders, and I would never...
sorry, that was a really weird frame. Way to frame that.
Yeah, because she's obviously showing her hand. Let's replay this from MSNBC, Joy Reid on Bernie Sanders.
Dust up between the two of them is that scandals hurt you more when they seem plausible, right? I mean, Bernie Sanders does have a sort of physicality, when he talks, that is a shaking your finger at Hillary Clinton, shaking your finger, shovey, weirdy.
I love that she said shaking your finger at Hillary Clinton, because that's exactly what happened. They tried to go after Bernie Sanders on the not being feminist thing with Hillary Clinton. Which is so weird because if you look at his voting record and his track record, he's been more feminist than Hillary Clinton has been. So it's just not, he's more consistent. He's a consistent person. I don't know. Moving on with Joy Reid.
His physicality makes me think, he could have said, listen, I think in this environment a woman can't win. That doesn't seem like a crazy
Well, first of all, I think Bernie's lying. We see him, he slouches forward anyway, Joy.
This is Janine Driver. She's a body language expert. She's going to tell us why Bernie's lying. Just because from his body language, he's a liar.
But here he turtles. If you look at his eye level where he normally answers questions, when he makes the denial, his whole shoulders come up like a little kid getting caught. His eye level is below his shoulders. This is trying to hide in plain sight. And many of us, we don't know what to look for. So if you look for this right out of the gate, and the strongest denial is simply saying no. And I think women in particular, we want to believe human beings. So we're like, I would say that. He literally said, well, as a matter of fact, I didn't say it. That's 9 words. Unnecessary? No. Did you vote for Donald Trump in the last election?
Absolutely no.
Right? So no. Did you dress up as an Easter bunny on Easter?
Absolutely no.
Right? So it's no. We say no. Absolutely is actually not the strongest denial.
She did it. She said absolutely no. And she said it, and she said, well, absolutely is actually not the strongest denial.
You're playing with me here in the game, but at least you're getting the no in here. We're not hearing the no with Bernie. Also with Bernie, he has numerous hotspots. He says, well. Liars like to start with well. He looks away. He laughs. I think he might have been coached to laugh in this moment. A lot of politicians are coached to laugh in the difficult times. So we're focused on the laughter, and it's supposed to send a message that this isn't serious. It is serious. If he said it, which I believe that he did, he would have been better to just...
Wow. Yeah. If he said it, which I believe that he did. Wow. That is sad. Let's hear what Bernie Sanders said back in 1988 during a C-SPAN interview.
Let me talk a little bit about Jackson. What Jackson has going against them is not primarily, in my view, is not primarily that he's black. I mean, there are some people who won't vote for somebody who's black, and that's that. That's a minority. And I think one of the changes, if people think I'm dumping on the United States, let me say that one of the nice changes that has taken place in the last 20 or 30 years is that, in fact, a person like Jesse Jackson can run for president of the United States and be taken seriously. Who would have thought of that 20 years ago, a black person running? I think the issue is not a racial issue. I think it's a class issue, okay? I think if you had a conservative black person, somebody, say, like a Mayor Good of Philadelphia, running, I think the business community would put money into his campaign and would say, boy, it's time for a black president. The real issue is not whether you're black or white, whether you're a woman or a man. In my view, a woman could be elected president of the United States. The real issue...
Very clear there.
There you go. In his view, a woman could be elected. But let's make his point more clear.
The issue is, whose side are you on? Are you on the side of workers and poor people, or are you on the side of big money and the corporations? Jackson is on the side of poor people and working people.
Okay, MSNBC, are you on the side of poor people and working people, or are you on the side of corporations?
No, that whole interview was honestly really disgusting.
Yeah, and the internet's been calling her out on it, thank goodness, but it is, because they're just, again, they're trying to split the progressive vote. They're trying to split up Warren and Bernie, the two most progressive candidates. They're trying to not give Bernie the nomination. Of course, again, you can't run Bernie. Why run Bernie? Because the base pretty much wants Bernie. It seems like his rallies are the loudest. But the press, they don't cover it. But he has the biggest crowds. He gets the most donations. But they're not going to want him. They don't want him to run.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Who are they going to run?
This is why you can't have advertisers, because they can't cover Bernie.
They can't. The advertisers yes, they hate Bernie because he. Yes.
It's sick because it always goes back to that. And then they bring on these so-called experts to spin this tale.
To lie to you.
Yeah, and try to convince you that Bernie is misogynistic. That is so...
If you can come at him and say he's socialist, that's fine. You can say that. But you can't say he's misogynistic. You can't come at him like that. You just can't. He's a consistent dude. He's politically consistent.
It's really kind of disgusting because he has been such a feminist ally, and then now they're slamming.
And they keep playing that card with him.
Stop doing that. You are hurting women as well by doing that.
Well, I not to get political, but I'm thinking no one on that stage last Tuesday is going to run.
Well,
I think Hillary Clinton's going to run. Let's watch this.
Before you start the clip, it's funny you bring up Hillary because they brought up Hillary. They brought up Bernie wagging the finger at Hillary.
They did. Yes, they wanted her to run so bad. They want her so bad.
Hillary wasn't on the debate.
She's going to run. I'm telling you. Here's her documentary, Hulu. Going to be premiering here pretty soon in March. Let's check it out.
I didn't grow up thinking about going into politics, but much to my surprise, was elected president of the Young Republicans.
Oh, of course. I didn't want to go into politics, but I was just elected president of the Young Republicans, of course. It just happened. It's just going to happen again. They're going to want me.
I got into law school. I thought I'm going to try to make a difference in people's lives.
I took a class and I saw Hillary sitting there.
And he was watching me.
She closed her law book.
I said, if you're going to keep looking at me and I'm going to keep looking back, we ought to know each other's names. I'm Hillary Rodham. Who are you?
She was different than anybody I ever met. I said, I really want to marry you, but you shouldn't marry me.
There is a set of expectations about a first lady. I violated them from the very beginning.
She brought to the forefront women's roles in society.
This is radical feminism.
Me deciding to ask Hillary to become Secretary of State surprised people.
Hillary's polarizing.
She
human
is?
rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights.
People would run up clutching copies of that speech, reciting that line from it.
Emails blew up.
Bang. It played into all of the suspicions. She's so sketchy.
Cold, calculating.
She could actually be crazy.
There is this sense that she knows that she is an ethical, moral person, and that can blind anyone.
You know, you get scarred up a little bit.
It wasn't like I thought, how can I think about the most stupid thing I could possibly do and do it?
I didn't want anything.
What? Rewind that. That was our former president, Bill Clinton, referring to the whole Monica Lewinsky thing.
You know, you get scarred up a little bit.
It wasn't like I thought, how can I think about the most stupid thing I could possibly do and do it?
I didn't want anything to do with him. Chelsea put herself between us and held both our hands.
As long as she has been in public light, there have been these ups and downs. You know, be our champion, go away.
You want to make a difference. You want to have an impact. Well, then you got to get in the arena.
What arena?
Got to get in the arena.
What arena?
Jeez.
Oh, my.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
So you're officially making your prediction?
She's going to run. It seems like it. It certainly seems it's not going to be Bernie Sanders. My official prediction is not Bernie Sanders. For sure, not going to be Bernie Sanders.
As long as the media has their way.
Yeah. It just seems so, I don't know. They even brought up Hillary in that interview.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Weird that they reference Hillary in that.
Yeah, it is. Switching gears, Voice of America News. Officials had incentives to lie about the war in Afghanistan.
Spanning nearly 2 decades and multiple administrations, the Afghanistan war is the longest in U.S. history. Members of Congress say there are lessons to be learned.
A lack of coordination, the misuse of funds, and insufficient training for Afghans has failed to reduce violence across the country. This is completely unacceptable.
More than 2,400 American service members have died since the U.S. and coalition partners invaded Afghanistan in 2001. The conflict has cost Washington nearly $1 trillion. John Sopko, Inspector General of an independent government watchdog created by Congress to combat waste and abuse in the U.S. reconstruction effort in Afghanistan, told the House Foreign Affairs Committee on Wednesday a persistent incentive to lie about the progress on the ground hurt U.S. efforts in Afghanistan.
You create from the bottom up an incentive because of short time frames. You're there for 6 months, 9 months, or a year to show success. That gets reported up the chain, and before you know it, the president is talking about a success that doesn't exist. And I think that's a good issue to look at, not whether there was lying, but why.
The hearing comes 1 month after a Washington Post report that government officials misled the public about U.S. gains in Afghanistan for years and hid evidence that the war had become unwinnable. The newspaper cited Seaguard documents as evidence.
Damn. The problem with this all coming out is that they usually don't admit this stuff until after the war is over.
Yeah.
So until the action's over, I don't think, because there's the other half of this report, someone denying all this. Oh, we would never lie, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So no one's...
Well, you can see they're already trying to twist it as, we weren't trying to lie.
We had to lie. It's just we weren't trying to deceive the Americans. We just happened to do it. I did not have sex with that woman.
You know, I went in for
Sexual
6
relations.
months and I wanted to show improvement. Everyone gets a gold star, including in Afghanistan, apparently. And
it's just another war that's just ongoing, feeding the military-industrial complex, killing people, doing...
The non-war war, you mean?
Non-war war. Something that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke out about. War in Vietnam at the time. He was speaking out about a lot of things about the draft and all that. Here's Democracy Now! With a little retrospective.
Today is a federal holiday that honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was born January 15th, 1929. He was assassinated April 4th, 1968, at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. He was just 39 years old. While Dr. King is primarily remembered as a civil rights leader, he also championed the cause of the poor, organizing the Poor People's Campaign to address issues of economic justice, and Dr. King was a fierce critic of U.S. foreign policy and the Vietnam War. Beyond Vietnam was the speech he delivered at New York's Riverside Church on April 4th, 1967, a year to the day before he was assassinated. In it, Dr. King called the United States the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today. Life magazine called the speech demagogic slander that sounded like a script for Radio Hanoi. The Washington Post said King, quote, diminished his usefulness to his cause, his country, his people, unquote.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a great speech. You should definitely listen to it. Look it up. It's a long one.
It's very interesting, too, how this part of his legacy has kind of been forgotten.
Yes, his the war part. It's interesting because it also happened, like she pointed out, his assassination took place a year after he gave that speech.
That
seemed more
chilling.
Yeah, that's a little chilling. That kind of seems like the motive behind his assassination was probably that speech and that movement that he was doing.
Yeah.
Because that's very powerful word, especially back then. Look what's going on now. We're still big purveyors of war and violence. It's what we do. Back then, it wasn't that bad. It's just been getting worse and worse as time progresses, as the machine grows.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the military-industrial complex.
Exactly, and it's still growing today.
Yeah, and you can say that started with the Cold War, that we just been investing, and now we have to keep invading
everybody. Because the world, we have to do it. We have to, because there are superpowers now. Superpowers are established. It's an arms race. If we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. It's the way it works. It's the system that it is. It is what it is.
Military spending just increases.
Yep. Increases.
We don't talk about it.
We don't. But we talk about it on a Healthy Talk Show.
Because we don't have advertisers.
That's right.
Thank you so much for supporting the show. We've been receiving so much love recently. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To help continue supporting the show, head on over to healthytalkshow.com/support. Your donation ensures that we remain ad-free, of course, and we can give you the best content.
That's right. We record Healthy Talk Show live on Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 3 a.m. UTC over at healthytalkshow.com/live. Send your questions, comments, or concerns over to ask@healthytalkshow.com. Love and light.
Love and light.